a nation of 520,000 people, a goalkeeper nobody had ever heard of before this tournament. And for 103 minutes in Miami, they nearly did something so unthinkable, so historically catastrophic, that the entire football world forgot to breathe. Cape Verde almost eliminated Lionel Messi, the defending world champions, the greatest player who has ever lived, at his sixth World Cup, in the round of 32. They did not. Argentina survived. 3-2, extra time. And Messi, 39 years old, playing every single one of those 120 minutes, scored his 20th World Cup goal in history, became the first player ever to score in 8 consecutive World Cup matches, and stood on that pitch in Miami drenched in sweat with his hands on his knees looking at the sky. 20 World Cup goals. Nobody in the history of the planet has ever scored more. Not Ronaldo Nazario. Not Pele. Not Gerd Muller. Not anyone. And then 24 hours later, in Toronto, Cristiano Ronaldo scored his first ever World Cup knockout stage goal. A penalty. Against Croatia. Portugal survived. And the man who said next question when a reporter mentioned Messi's name now has his answer sitting right in front of him. Messi 20 World Cup goals. Ronaldo 9. The gap is not closing. It is getting wider every single match. Today on Robert's Football Talk, we are going deep. 39 years old against Cape Verde. The greatest upset that almost happened. The 20 goals that nobody will ever reach. And the GOAT debate that this one night in Miami may have settled once and for all. If you are a Ronaldo fan, sit down. Because this is going to be uncomfortable. If you are a Messi fan, sit down. Because what Cape Verde did to Argentina last night should terrify every single one of you before the Egypt match. Welcome back to Robert's Football Talk. I am your host. Subscribe right now if you are new here. Hit that bell. Because today we are doing something we have never done on this channel before. We are going all the way in. 20 minutes. Every angle. No holding back. Let us go. Part 1. The night that almost broke everything. Let me paint the scene for you properly because it deserves to be understood in full. Miami Stadium. 64,478 fans. The vast majority of them Argentine. Sky blue and white flags everywhere. A homecoming for Messi, who has spent his adult life in Miami during MLS seasons. The loudest, most passionate crowd of this entire World Cup. And on the other side of that pitch, Cape Verde, a tiny island nation in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of West Africa. Population 520,000. A country where fishing and tourism are the two main industries. A team ranked 70th in the world, making their first ever appearance in a World Cup knockout stage. Against the reigning world champions. Against Messi. Against arguably the greatest collection of attacking talent South America has ever assembled. Nobody gave them a chance. Not one serious analyst. Not one credible prediction model. NBC Sports noted that if Argentina had lost this match, it would have been the largest upset in a World Cup knockout game since at least 1994 by FIFA ranking. That is not a small statement. That is saying this would have been one of the most shocking results in the entire history of the sport. Argentina almost lost. Side index equals 16-1. Lionel Messi extended his all-time scoring record to 20 goals at the FIFA World Cup, helping push his side into the round of 16 with his 7th goal in 4 games. Site. The goal came in the 29th minute. Site index equals 18-1. Lisandro Martinez lofted a long ball over the top of the defense to the feet of Messi. The 39-year-old maestro took a touch with the outside of his left boot and buried it in the roof of Vozinha's net. Site. It was the kind of goal only Messi scores. The touch. The composure. The outside of the left boot. The ball going exactly where he intended it to go, into the roof of the net where no goalkeeper on earth can reach it. Goal number 20 in World Cup history. The record that will stand for generations. And then Cape Verde equalized. Side index equals 15-1. Cape Verde shocked everyone but themselves in the 59th minute as Diroy Duarte slammed home past Emiliano Martinez. Site. And the Argentine fans who had been singing since the first minute fell silent. 64,000 people suddenly very, very quiet. Argentina pushed. Messi had a free kick in the 72nd minute that seemed certain to go in. Side index equals 18-1. One of Messi's trademark free kicks was tipped away by Vozinha. Site. The Cape Verde goalkeeper, a man named Josemar Dias, but known to everyone as Vozinha, was having one of the greatest goalkeeping performances in World Cup history. Save after save, deny after deny. One man standing between a tiny island nation and the greatest upset in decades. Extra time. Side index equals 14-1. Argentina restored their advantage almost immediately after extra time began as Lisandro Martinez converted from close range following a corner. Site 2-1. Argentina breathing again. The fans back to singing. And then, side index equals 14-1. Cape Verde refused to back down, with Sidney Lopez Cabral producing a stunning curling effort from a tight angle to make it 2-2 once again. Site 2-2. In extra time, Cape Verde had equalized twice. Against Argentina. Against Messi. The most famous footballer on the planet looked at his teammates, and those 39-year-old legs had to carry him through 30 more minutes of football against a team that refused to die. Side index equals 13-1. In the 6th minute of the second half of extra time, Christian Romero headed in Messi's left-footed corner kick to score the winning goal. Site. Argentina 3-2. The corner was Messi's. Of course it was. Even the winning goal had his left foot on it somehow. Side index equals 14-1. Cape Verde nearly forced penalties late on, but Emiliano Martinez produced a vital save to deny Lopez Cabral's powerful free kick and secure Argentina's progress. Site. Final whistle. Argentina through. The dressing room that followed was not the celebration you would expect from a team that just won. It was the silence of a group of players who knew exactly how close they had come to something catastrophic. Now, before we go any further, I want to ask you something. Argentina defended their world title tonight against a team ranked 70th in the world and nearly lost. Does that concern you about their chances of winning back-to-back World Cups? Drop your honest answer in the comments right now. I want to know if the Roberts Football Talk community is still backing Argentina after last night. Part 2. 20 goals. The number that defines a legacy forever. Let us stop and look at the number properly, because the number deserves that. 20 World Cup goals. Lionel Messi. 6 tournaments. 1998 to 2026. Brazil 2006 was his first. He scored 1 goal. He was 18 years old. He had barely started his Barcelona first-team career. He scored against Serbia in the group stage, and the football world got its first glimpse of what was coming. From 1 goal in 2006 to 20 goals in 2026. Across 20 years of World Cup football. More goals than any player in the history of the tournament by an enormous margin. Side index equals 17-1. He has now scored in 8 consecutive World Cup matches and extended his lead as the highest goal scorer in men's World Cup history to 20. Site. 8 consecutive World Cup matches with a goal. That means at every single World Cup since Germany 2006, in at least 1 match, Messi has scored. Across 4 different decades of football. Brazil 2006. South Africa 2010. Brazil 2014. Russia 2018. Qatar 2022. USA 2026. No matter the opponent, no matter the pressure, no matter his age, he scores. The previous record for World Cup goals was 16, held by Miroslav Klose, who played across 4 World Cups for Germany. Messi broke that record. Then he added 4 more. He now has 20, and this tournament is not finished. Side index equals 14-1. Messi becomes first to score 7 goals in 2 FIFA World Cup editions. Site. He scored 7 in Qatar 2022, winning the tournament. He has 7 in this one already. 7 and 7. 14 goals across 2 World Cups at the ages of 35 and 39. This is not just greatness. This is something that exists outside the normal boundaries of what football was supposed to look like. And here is the context that makes the 20 goals even more extraordinary. Messi played 120 minutes last night. Every single minute. Side index equals 17-1. Messi stayed on the pitch for the entire game. a testament to the challenge Cape Verde presented, site, at 39 years old. In extra time, against a team that pushed him to every single limit he had. His teammates felt it too. Site index equals 17-1. There are no words for Messi. Site. That quote from an Argentina player after the match. No words. Just quiet awe. The same awe that 64,000 fans felt when they watched him control that ball with the outside of his left foot and fire it into the roof of the net for goal number 20. Subscribe to Robert's Football Talk right now because we are about to get into the comparison that everyone is waiting for. And it is going to be uncomfortable for half of you. Part 3. Messi 20 goals. Ronaldo 9. The comparison that ends the debate. Let me be clear about something before we go into this. I have enormous respect for Cristiano Ronaldo. What he has done across 23 years of professional football is one of the greatest individual athletic achievements in the history of sport. 900 career goals, 5 Ballon d'Ors, 5 Champions Leagues, a European Championship with Portugal, a Nations League with Portugal, records that will stand for decades. But here is the World Cup truth, and it needs to be said clearly. Messi 20 World Cup goals, Ronaldo 9 World Cup goals. That gap is not a technicality. It is not a small statistical difference. It is 11 goals. 11. Ronaldo would need to score 11 more World Cup goals to equal Messi's current total. At 41 years old, in what is certainly his final World Cup, he scored a penalty against Croatia last night to make it 9 career World Cup goals. Site index equals 12-1. Cristiano Ronaldo scored his first FIFA World Cup knockout round goal to put Portugal level against Croatia. Site, his first ever in the knockout rounds. In his 6th World Cup, at 41 years old. This is not a criticism of Ronaldo. It is simply the facts. Messi has scored 20 World Cup goals, 11 in knockout matches alone. Ronaldo now has 1 knockout World Cup goal in 6 tournaments. The gap between these two players specifically at the World Cup is not close. It has never been close. And after last night, it is wider than it has ever been. Ronaldo in that Toronto press conference said, "Next question," when a reporter mentioned Messi. He said it like a man who has moved on from the comparison, like a man who is comfortable with who he is and what he has achieved. And I understand that, because Ronaldo's career is extraordinary. Nobody should feel the need to diminish what he has done. But moving on from the comparison and pretending the comparison does not exist are two different things. And the World Cup numbers exist whether Ronaldo acknowledges them or not. Messi 20. Ronaldo 9. Now let me ask you something. If Messi scores again in the round of 16 against Egypt and reaches 21 World Cup goals, is the GOAT debate completely over for you? Drop your verdict in the comments. And if you are a Ronaldo fan, I want to hear your argument. What is the case you make after last night? Give me your best argument below. Part 4. Bozinha, the man who almost changed everything. Before we go any further in the Messi and Argentina story, Cape Verde deserve a proper tribute, because what they did in Miami was extraordinary. And one man in particular deserves to be talked about for the rest of this World Cup. Bozinha, the goalkeeper. Site index equals 18-1. Cape Verde knew they would need to score to keep their World Cup campaign alive, site, and their goalkeeper kept them in it long enough to score twice. Save after save against one of the most dangerous attacking teams in the history of international football. Site index equals 15-1. Whatever the final outcome, Cape Verde have already pulled off one of the greatest World Cup displays of all time, ranked 67th in the world, against the world #1 defending champions, stifling Messi and Argentina when the entire world expected a blowout. Site, stifling Messi. That sentence. In a World Cup knockout match, against the team that has dominated international football for the past decade. Cape Verde, with a population smaller than most cities, stifled Messi. Bozinha saved a Messi free kick in the 72nd minute that appeared destined for the top corner. Site index equals 18-1. One of Messi's trademark free kicks was tipped away by Bozinha. Site, a goalkeeper from a nation of 500,000 people standing on his line and tipping away a Messi free kick in a World Cup knockout match. That is a moment that will be replayed in Cape Verde forever. School children in the islands will watch that save for generations. And then in the final minutes of extra time, site index equals 14-1, Emiliano Martinez produced a vital save to deny Lopez Cabral's powerful free kick. /site. Argentina's goalkeeper answering Cape Verde's goalkeeper. Two extraordinary goalkeeping performances in a match that the scoreline barely does justice to. Site index equals 18-1. Cape Verde were beaten, but far from outclassed by the three-times world champions as they put in a fourth magnificent display of teamwork and grit at their first World Cup. /site, fourth magnificent display. In their first World Cup, they drew Spain in the group stage. They drew Belgium and Iraq. They pushed Argentina to extra time in the knockouts. A tiny island nation with a population the size of a medium English city competed with four of the best football nations on earth and only lost once. To Argentina, by 1 goal. After 120 minutes. The football world should be talking about Cape Verde for years. But the football world is talking about Messi. Because Messi scored. Messi created the winning goal. Messi played 120 minutes at 39 years old. And Messi has 20 World Cup goals. Part 5. The 39-year-old body that refuses to stop. Here is the question I want to address directly because it is the one that haunts every Argentina fan going into the round of 16 against Egypt. Can Messi sustain this? Is the body that played 120 minutes in Miami Heat last night going to be ready 4 days later for another knockout match? And beyond that, through a potential quarterfinal and semifinal and final, can a 39-year-old man keep finding these moments when they matter most? Site index equals 17-1. Many wondered what version of Messi would show up at this tournament. Would manager Lionel Scaloni manage his minutes on the field? Would he be able to keep up with the pace of Argentina on the international stage? It is safe to say he has officially shut down any possible doubt of what Messi can do for this team by scoring and playing the entire 120 minutes of the game against Cape Verde. And his teammates know it too. /site. He played 120 minutes. At 39. In Miami Heat. Against a team that ran and pressed and worked harder than anyone else at this tournament. He had 9 shots. He scored 1 goal. He assisted the winning goal from a corner. And he never came off. Scaloni had the option to substitute him. Any reasonable coach protecting a player of this age and importance would have considered it. Scaloni left him on. Because Messi demanded it. Because Messi knew, as he always knows, exactly what his body needed and exactly what this tournament needed from him. After the match, Messi told the media, site index equals 14-1. We knew this would be a very tough match. In the World Cup, no one gives you anything for free. Now it's about resting, learning from today, and focusing on the next game. Also, congratulations to Cape Verde for that great performance. /site. No one gives you anything for free. That is the philosophy of a man who has played in 6 World Cups and knows exactly how this competition works. Every match is a battle. Every opponent prepares specifically for you. Every moment of complacency gets punished. Messi has been at this level for 20 years. He knows. But the physical concern is real. Egypt and Atlanta on Tuesday. Then potentially France or England or one of the tournament's giants in the quarterfinals. Then a semifinal and potentially a final. For more matches potentially. Potentially 360 more minutes of World Cup football. The question is not whether Messi wants to play. He will always want to play. The question is whether Scaloni can protect him well enough through the first 60 minutes of each match so that when the critical moments arrive in the final third of games, Messi still has the legs to produce them. Because last night proved that Messi at 70% is still the best player in this tournament. Messi at 100%, the version that scored that goal with the outside of his left boot into the roof of the net, is something this sport has never seen before and will never see again. Subscribe to Robert's Football Talk and share this video because we are getting to the biggest question of all, and it is the one that nobody wants to answer. Part 6. Can Argentina win back-to-back World Cups? The honest verdict. Here is what we know about Argentina at this World Cup after 4 matches. They have not lost. They have won all 4. They have scored 12 goals. They have Messi, who has 7 goals and is the leading scorer in the tournament alongside Mbappe. They have Emiliano Martinez in goal, who is one of the best shot stoppers in the world. They have a defensive structure that Scaloni has built over years of tournament experience. They have the psychological advantage of being the defending champions, knowing what it feels like to win. And they almost lost last night to a team ranked 70th in the world. That tension is the truth of what Argentina are at this World Cup. They are capable of brilliance. Messi against Algeria, when he scored the hat-trick that broke Klose's record, was footballing perfection. But they are also vulnerable. Against Cape Verde, outside of Messi and Lisandro Martinez, Argentina were described by Al Jazeera as largely bereft of ideas. One player carrying a team on his 39-year-old back. Against Egypt in the round of 16, that might be enough. Egypt are dangerous, but not at the level of France or Brazil or England. Against whoever Argentina face in the quarterfinals, the margins become tighter. If France and Argentina meet in the semifinal or the final, which the bracket makes possible, it will be the rematch of 2022. The greatest final in World Cup history. France will have Mbappe, who is level with Messi in the Golden Boot race on 7 goals. Dembele, the Ballon d'Or winner, alles with 5 assists. They will have 13 tournament goals from 4 matches. They will have 3 days more rest than Argentina if the scheduling works as expected. That match, if it happens, will be won or lost on one moment. One Messi free kick that Mainin does not save. One Mbappe run that Romero does not track. One Alles pass that finds Dembele between the lines. One moment. 50-50. Football. Argentina can win back-to-back World Cups. The defending champions can do it. 3 teams have done it in history. Italy in 1934 and 1938. Brazil in 1958 and 1962. Brazil again in 1994 would have been 3, but they lost in 1998. Argentina have the squad. They have the experience. They have Messi, but they will not win it easily. And after last night against Cape Verde, anyone who thought they would cruise through this tournament now knows that is not how this Argentina story is going to be told. Part 7. The moment Modric said goodbye, and what it means for the GOAT debate. Last night in Toronto was also the end of a different era. Site index equals 10-1. Luka Modric is finishing his 5th World Cup, which will likely be the 40-year-old midfielder's final one. Site. Modric and Ronaldo. 2 players who defined an era. 2 players who were Real Madrid teammates for years. Site index equals 10-1. Ronaldo and Modric were the first 2 players 40 years or older to play in the same match together. Site. History made even in the moments around the GOAT debate. And after Portugal won, site index equals 10-1. It was an emotional moment after the match, as Ronaldo wore the jersey of late Portugal teammate Diogo Jota, who died in a car accident a year ago. A team photo was taken on the pitch, with Ronaldo holding up Jota's jersey alongside his squad. Site. That moment. Ronaldo. Jota's jersey. His teammates around him. A man who has played this sport for 23 years, carrying the grief of losing a teammate alongside the joy of a World Cup knockout victory. That is the human side of Cristiano Ronaldo that the GOAT debate statistics cannot capture. That is the man behind the goals and the records and the next question press conference. But here is where I have to be honest with every Ronaldo fan watching this video. Ronaldo scored his first ever knockout round World Cup goal last night. Against Croatia. A penalty. His 9th World Cup goal overall. He is 41 years old. Portugal face Spain in the round of 16. If they beat Spain, they face England or the United States in the quarterfinals. And if Ronaldo keeps performing, keeps finding the net, keeps leading Portugal through this tournament, his story becomes one of the greatest individual sporting stories of all time. But even if Ronaldo wins the World Cup with Portugal, even if he scores 5 more goals and finishes with 14 career World Cup goals, Messi will still have more. Messi 20. That number does not go down. It only goes up. The GOAT debate was always going to be settled by the World Cup. Messi's fans always said he needed it to prove himself. He won it in 2022. Ronaldo's fans said Messi won it with an aging Argentina team on the back of a lucky VAR call. And then 2026 started. And Messi came back at 39. And he started scoring again. And now he has 20 World Cup goals, more than any human being who has ever played this sport. And Ronaldo said, next question. That is the answer. Not because Ronaldo is a lesser player, not because his career is not extraordinary, but because when the reporter asked about Messi, Ronaldo knew, deep down in that competitive soul that has driven him for 23 years. He knew. The World Cup is Messi's territory. It always has been. And after last night in Miami, it always will be. Part 8. What comes next? The road ahead. Argentina face Egypt in Atlanta on July 8th. Egypt, who have Salah, who qualified from their group with Portugal, who are a team that should not be underestimated after their own dramatic run in this tournament. But Argentina with a fit Messi are better than Egypt. That is the honest assessment. If Messi plays and creates and scores the way he has been doing throughout this tournament, Argentina advance to the quarterfinals. And the closer Messi gets to that final, the bigger the story becomes. Because here is the narrative that this World Cup is building toward. Messi in the final, Argentina defending their title, against France potentially, or Brazil, or England. One more night, one more match, on the biggest stage the sport has. Messi at Qatar 2022 was the greatest individual World Cup performance in history. 7 goals, 3 assists, winning the Golden Boot and the Golden Ball, lifting the trophy, finally completing the legacy that had been questioned for a decade. At 2026, at 39 years old, he already has 7 goals, and we are only in the round of 16. If he reaches the final and Argentina win, what he will have done across these 2 tournaments will make the GOAT debate the most one-sided conversation in the history of sport. 1 goal at the tournament. 1 last extraordinary night. That is all this sport and all these 64,478 fans in Miami asked of him last night. And he delivered it into the roof of the net with the outside of his left boot. 20 World Cup goals. Nobody else. Ever. That is the full story. Cape Verde nearly broke everything. Vozinha almost became the most famous goalkeeper on earth. Messi scored goal number 20 and played 120 minutes at 39 years old. And somewhere in Toronto, Ronaldo scored his first ever World Cup knockout goal and said he deserved to win. He is right. He did deserve to win. But in the story of the greatest World Cup goal scorer who has ever lived, last night's page belonged entirely to one man. And his name is Lionel Messi. Now I want your final takes. 3 questions. Drop everything in the comments. First, is 20 World Cup goals enough to settle the GOAT debate permanently for you? Second, can Argentina win back-to-back World Cups after that Cape Verde scare? Third, Messi versus Ronaldo. 1 sentence. Your final verdict. Right now, drop it all below. I read every single comment. And today, more than any video we have done on this channel, I want to hear both sides. This has been Robert's Football Talk. Hit that like button. Share this video with every football fan you know because this is the biggest story of the 2026 World Cup. Messi fan or Ronaldo fan, this is the breakdown you needed to see. Subscribe if you are not already part of this channel. New videos every single week, and this World Cup is writing history every single day. I will see you in the next one.